Hello and welcome back to the Sports Dungeon. I'm your host, Lauren Tepper. We're sitting here with North Arkansas Pioneers head basketball coach and athletic director out at North Arkansas College, Jerry Thomason. You know, Jerry has been real good to our family, and I appreciate everything he has ever done for us as a family. He's been there. We've talked to him. He's been good to my boys, and we really appreciate everything he does. And let me just tell you this. I'll say this on camera. Let me tell you who got me started into even thinking about doing anything like a TV show or doing any public address announcing was the day I came and visited Coach in his office, and he says, "Hey, I got a deal for you." And let me tell you what, anytime Coach says that for you, you can watch out. He thought that I could do a good job public address announcing for him out at the college, and let me tell you what, he's absolutely right. I have a great time when I get to do those things for him, as well as it's opened up some doors for me to be out at some other places. And Coach Jerry is the one who pushed me into that. I don't even say push. He just asked if I'd do it, and had no clue on what to do. And Coach, I'm putting you on the spot and telling everybody that.
But I didn't know exactly how that worked.
Yeah, him and Rusty Kennedy were going back a little ways. We're sitting there in his office, and he says, "We got a deal for you." I said, "Thanks, Coach." But I've had great fun doing it, and it's opened up a lot of opportunities for me, and I appreciate you giving me that chance.
Appreciate you helping us.
I have fun. I have fun out at NorthArk. Anyways, we were talking about your starting five. Let's go to the boys in the middle. Jesse Hicks and Cortez McGee. Cortez was your guy starter. Jesse stepped in over the last few games and doesn't want to give back that spot and doesn't want to go back to sitting next to you, does he?
No, Jesse he's found a better game. It's a lot of times you just get a chance. You make, and as a player myself years ago, we had some episodes of our team when I was playing at Ouachita, and we lost some guys, and I got to step in, and that got me going. So, you ready, you want the chance. And Jesse has stepped in and done the job, I mean, he's, he's going from probably being in my doghouse a lot to stepping up and getting, and the last games he's started even for us, he's doubled on us, boards and points, and doing some good, doing some good work for us.
And that's really that's a very good compliment between the two, between Cortez McGee, who Cortez stepped up his game because when the season was starting, just before we had the red-white game, Cortez wasn't a guy that I don't think you had planned to start. Maybe get him off the bench. You had a different kid that was in here who quit on you due to some family issues. And so Cortez had to step up, and Cortez stepped up and has played well for you throughout the year, giving us more than you thought that was expected. And now Jesse's come in and done even the same thing and taken it to the next level for you.
Well, Cortez is going to give us a lot of energy on the boards and defense, and then if he'll knock down a few shots every now and then, and really, well, he's a rebounder, defensive guy, and works hard. Helps us, in the middle and controls the middle defensively, and of course Cortez, he's hurt his shoulder. He got undercut and landed hard on his shoulder, and we're working on that, trying to get him back, as soon as we can. And he don't want to have played his last game. Well, Jesse has stepped up, and we always knew Jesse more offensively minded. Jesse could shoot the ball. Sometimes I didn't mean his shot selection
wasn't on the same page.
I have what we call a good shot, and Jesse had a shot he never did think was bad. So, all shots was good for Jesse. But he's come around for us, and one of the things too is the coaching move. I don't know if I got credit for that or Coach Hodges. We put him down inside, and he's done us a lot better in there, and instead of roaming the perimeter. But he's doing us a good job, and of course, we're hoping Cortez can come back for us and help us some more and give us a little more depth.
Yeah. Well, when I talked to him a week or so ago, he was looking at this Saturday. But is that realistic or not?
We'll just have to see what the doctors say this week. And get him cleared.
Let's go.
He has gotten it stouter, and he's not having pain with it. And so we're hoping he'll get back, and we're hoping by this Saturday because we get this Saturday, and then the next Saturday is our playoff game. Yeah. So
Let's round out your starting five as the Michael Turner, the boy from Jacksonville, who's come up to play for you. Kind of a wiry guy, 6'7", has given you some really good added depth in the middle. He'd like to have a little breather. His replacement coming off the bench has been Corey Mitchell at times for you, but he's been a nice little find for you.
Yeah, of course we've watched Michael in the AAU, and then at North Little Rock, last year at Wildcats, and I think it was the 6A tournament down at Alamo. We saw him play, and we was on him before that, and looking at him and stuff. And we were fortunate to get him, and he's really played well for us. We've tried to polish his game a little bit with his offensive skills. He's always stood the middle real well defensively. He blocks shots. He's one of the leading guys in the nation right now in blocking shots. Of course, I'm not a big attribute of shot blocking. I think sometimes guys try to block shots and they get into big trouble. I think you got to play defense on the floor, and take charges and cut people off and block people out. But Michael has this knack to block shots, and he doesn't leave his feet, and he keeps his position good. And his offensive skills are coming around, and he gives us a pretty good force in the middle. We like the way he's developing, and we look even for greater things next year.
Let's talk about the guy who you got coming off the bench, been filling your six-man role. And I'll say this, and I'm not. If he watches the show, there are people. We're going to talk about Randy Peters, who at the beginning of the year in November. Looked like he didn't have a clue where to go on the floor. You'd look at him, and he'd run one place, and he'd run somewhere else, and we'd be sitting there thinking, now, we've been watching NorthArk play for years. That ain't what Jerry's running. I don't know where he's going. But of late, he has really stepped up, and there's a couple things that we've talked about, and you and I have talked about before. One guy that I've never seen, a lot of kids do this, but he does it. He has his hands ready to shoot that basketball. I mean, they're always right here waiting for the pass to do something with it. He's been taught something fundamentally from a young age.
Well, he'd come. A good program. Coach Tedder down there, I think, just did a great job. And those at the Ozark Classic over the years known of Mina coming up and playing. And that's where we saw Randy.
Right.
And we knew that he could shoot the three. He can create on his own, a good free throw shooter, and and he's a wiry kid, got long arms, and he plays good defense. He gets down and works at it. And it was just a matter of learning the system with Randy, and I think he's buckled in now. He's feeling comfortable, and like I say, he's learned it now, and he's doing us a good job. And he's getting a lot of minutes now.
He is getting a lot of minutes for you.
He's playing well for us, and we appreciate that. He's gonna have a good career. I think he's gonna come along.
Yeah. Let's go to the rest of your bench there. Corey Mitchell and Arbor Salami, who stopped me at Walmart the other day to tell me, "I'm so glad you got my name right." Well, after 2 years, I finally figured it out how to say it.
Yeah, it's of course, you mentioned about Marion coming from Christ King, New York, and Arbor coming from Albania.
Yeah.
It's kind of odd, how you get players,
all over.
It just we're not out circling the globe.
We don't have that big of a budget, do you?
It just kind of things fall in place, and just people see you here and there and know them, and they get a chance. And Arbor. Athletically, as good a player as is around. He's 6'7" and can jump, and he shoots well, and he just knows the game. Other than court instinct and court savvy and knowing mistakes and knowing the American game, it's probably left him out a little bit.
I was going to say
and
that.
I'm a bar none. I'm a complicated coach. Our system, it has to be.
Janet, did you hear that?
It's a system, and guys have to be sold in it, and they have to play within that. And then it's just not just playing one-on-one basketball and hoop and shoot. And once you get it, then it can turn into that, but it's still in. And everybody knows I like a fast game. I like to press people, and I like to get in their grill, and I like to run, and I like to shoot it, and. I still believe that games are lost by people making mistakes, not so much by people making great plays. You make mistakes, you're going to get beat. If you don't make mistakes, you're going to be in the ball game, whether you shoot good or not. And that's kind of been my philosophy. You know, sometimes we make too many turnovers. That's our problem when we lose. We make 24, 20, 25 turnovers. And, you know, if you don't shoot good and do that, you're going to get beat. And so, you know, but Corey at time 2 has come in and played and chipped in real good for us in the middle.
He did the other day at Saturday.
Against Central Baptist.
Against Central Baptist. He had a really good, you know, that's probably the best game I'd seen him play in a Pioneer uniform.
Yeah,
I don't get to see the away games.
Yeah, you know, I can remember back, I think it was maybe the first or second game right after Christmas break, Corey had an outstanding game. I think in one of our classics up here, we didn't even go in and play, and he did a good job. He did well, and so you know that's the role of playing the bench. You know, you've got to just look for your opportunity and step in there. You know, and I don't necessarily want players who like to be on the bench. It just can't be an attitude. You know, you just got to be ready and willing when your number's called, go in there and do the job you're supposed to do. And by most part, our kids try to do that.
Well, Coach, it's been we're out of time. If you one thing to say is we'd like to invite you to come out this Saturday. It's the last home game. I'm sure that you're going to have something to recognize the ones that have been here for you for 2 years. You're going to say goodbye to them. Cortez and Jesse, Blake, Caleb, and Arbor, and Corey will all be gone after this year, and they'll have a whole new fresh crop coming in with a mixture of these freshmen that'll be sophomores for next year.
And I'd like to mention quickly that, you know, play of Ethan Cooper. He's just bottled in there and done the best job he could. You know, he plays hard all the time, and you know, all these guys I appreciate, you know, what their efforts do for our program.
Yeah, and it's been important because you started with like 14 at the start of the year, and now we're down to 9. You don't even have enough to scrimmage during practice, so you put one of those red shirt guys out there and let them play, right?
Right. You get after it. Yeah.
Coach, I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks.
It's always a pleasure to talk with you, and it's a pleasure to listen to you talk about your team. And we're excited, and I know you'll come back anytime I ask.
You're what? Yeah, I'll be here.
All right. Thanks, Coach. This has been the Sports Dungeon. I'm your host, Lauren Tepper. Until next time. Coach, that was easy.